Thank you all for coming today. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a term that we probably are all a little bit familiar with, and that is called the woman in midlife crisis. Now, throughout my speech, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define it and describe what that is a little bit. But more importantly, what I'd like to do is kind of go in a direction where midlife doesn't have to necessarily be a crisis, but it can go into the direction of happiness, and that's what I really kind of want to focus on. But first, I want to tell you that midlife crisis was a term coined by a social scientist named Elliot Jacques in 1965. Now, this is more or less a Western term that only applies to Western societies. It is a term that would describe a period of dramatic self-doubt. And what's interesting about it is this isn't really a concept that is recognized in other cultures that are more or less Asian cultures or Indian cultures. And what scientists or sociologists have discovered or hypothesized is that it's probably because we are such a youth-centered society, and that is why there's such an importance with us and why we kind of fall victim to this whole idea. So anyway, what I wanted to say is although middle-aged adults who may be suffering from crisis, may be experiencing a period of psychological stress and depression, researchers have found that this could also be a time of reflection and reassessment and not necessarily a time for sociological upheaval. A midlife crisis could be caused by aging in itself or a combination of other things, such as changes, problems, or regrets. Work or career problems, spousal relationships that are unsatisfactory, maturing children, aging or parents that are ill, or the death of a parent, or physical changes that are associated with age. Characteristics of individuals experiencing a midlife crisis could be anything from just trying to search for an undefined dream or goal, a sense of remorse for something they didn't achieve in the past, a desire to achieve a feeling of youthfulness, a need to spend more time with people who are of their own peers, of their own age, or alone. Other things could manifest themselves as alcohol abuse, acquisition of certain material things, or unique things like tattoos or jewelry, gadgets, things like that. Depression, blaming people for their failures, or they can blame themselves for their own failures. And they can be overly attentive to their physical appearance, and also live vicariously through their children, which they can see where they're placing too much importance over their children to excel in certain areas, such as extracurricular activities or even their social lives. However, according to an article in Time magazine, Midlife Crisis, Bring It On, Nancy Gibbs says, thanks to higher incomes, better education, and long experience in juggling multiple roles, women may actually discover that there hasn't been a better time to experience a midlife crisis than today. Women now may feel they have found the opportunity to reassess and focus their time and energy in creating a new goal, identity, or take introspection on what works and what doesn't work in their life. So, on AmazingFacts.com, there was a list of secrets to happiness that I kind of take note of, and I wanted to share with you. So I'm only going to do a few of them. One of them is know what you want. Now, you would think that this would be really simple. It's really hard. My son asked me, who's 15 years old, what's your favorite car? And I was thinking, well, let me think, what minivan do I like? I'm like, what am I talking about? I don't like minivans. But it took a while for me to kind of get, I just fell into that and realized I was doing things, not because I liked them necessarily, but, it's interesting how you just live with what you know. So it's one of those self-discovering things. So At this age, what's really nice is by this point you know what you don't like. So this is just relearning what you do. Next thing is savoring the mystery. Now what I think about this is, and what I've told everybody since I turned 40, that what I try to do is scare myself a little bit all the time. Doing something that takes me out of my comfort level, and which is I started taking tennis lessons. And I started taking belly dancing lessons. And I started taking piano lessons. And I took the speech class, which is killing me. So you can scare yourself if you ask me. I'll tell you what to do. Diversify your good deeds. Now this is just, there's been plenty of research that shows random acts of kindness on a regular basis will make you feel good about yourself, who you are, and add longevity to your life. Invest in experiences, not stuff. Goes without saying, as we've grown older, we've seen that you don't really remember the stuff you get necessarily, but you hold on to the memories, especially when you're with the ones you love and care about. You need to have that support system always. And as women, we need to really bond and take care of that network, because it's going to carry us on from this point on. Hope for small, not the big changes. So basically what this to me is, I go to church regularly, I go to bunco, I go to book club, I try to do things, little hobbies, things like that I can go ahead and feel that I have regular attendance to, and they, researchers have shown that enhances your happiness. All right, shift your focus. Try to look at things optimistically. Make a point of doing that even if you don't feel like it. Chat it up with your spouse like a stranger. We all know that we treat strangers nicer than we treat the people closest to us. At this point, this should be really easy for all of us, as our spouses sometimes feel like strangers. Anyway, settle for good enough. We're all moms. We want to do it perfectly. I know this is really hard for all of us. We'll keep working on that. This one, when to fold them. Know when to fold them. And just because you've been doing something forever doesn't mean you have to continue doing them forever. So get rid of toxic relationships. You're in a situation where you are in a bad career or bad job or something along those lines that no longer serve you. Leave it behind you. The only regret is just remembering that you need to let go and believe that everything's going to be better from this point forward, and don't just leave it behind you. And the last one is physical appearance, which is my favorite, and because I know this stresses everybody out, I have this clip from a really good movie I like, and this is Meryl Streep looking in the mirror, and maybe this is all of us.
Is that what I look like?
Yes, that is what we look like. So deal with it, and everybody else will. So I want to leave you with a few things to keep in mind. With any challenge comes opportunity. Remember, diamonds are made under pressure and over time. With age, hopefully you choose wisdom. Celebrate that your past led you to who you are today. And know that who you are is what you do every day, always. Thank you.
Wow.